Welcome to episode 11 of the Pop Anime Comics Lounge. My guest today is professional wrestler Solo Darling, but before we get into that interview, I would like to remind everybody to check out popanimecomics.com for anime and comic related articles. And if you click on the affiliate links in the articles, it brings you right to Amazon.com. And if you purchase something from Amazon.com through those links, I get a small commission which helps keep this podcast up and running. So please check those articles out. Click those affiliate links, and without further ado, let's dive right into the interview with Solo Darling. So, when were you first exposed to wrestling?
I was first exposed to wrestling when I was like 3. It's not like in the family or anything like that. And then my cousins got real into it, and I have 2 older boy cousins, and so I was the crash test dummy for a lot of moves. But yeah, around that age, and then I liked it, and I'm pretty sure I still have binders of like the old cards that they used to have at like comic stores and stuff like that. So yeah, I was little. Not that I've grown any since then, but.
So what were you watching growing up?
Watching? Well, to date myself, but Ultimate Warrior and Hogan and just all of that, all the way through where like my favorites, obviously, Guerrero and Jericho and all of that, and Attitude Era, all the way through, on and off, right? Catching up on anything I missed in between.
So what were you like in high school growing up?
Oh, what was I like in high school? Well, that's a great question. In high school, I went to Catholic school, and the funny part is to like rebel against uniform policy by wearing little cat ears. You used to sell these headbands at like Hot Topic, and so so I actually used to wear those just because, right? Which is funny later on that I wind up wearing ears in the tail anyway. The tail I didn't wear in school though. Fear not. That was a development later in life. I was a drummer. I had a band. I was in stage crew. I like to build things. And then I like to, like with my best friend, we would practice moves by learning on the old school the N64 game. We would just practice moves at school during like stage crew time and stuff like that, and then like at home, and like I'm pretty sure like she broke a futon with me, like she power bombed me through my futon, so that was uncomfortable. But yeah, high school I did all that stuff. Anything that was like crafty, I painted. Anything in music, and then just like everybody else, trying their favorite moves out in ways they probably shouldn't be. you know.
So you went to college. What'd you study in college?
College, I went to a couple different ones, but I started off with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, and then I added on a degree in sports medicine or exercise science. They change depending on the school you go to, so those 2 were like my thing. I just assumed I was going to be making Manic Panic hair dye, but my own company, or fireworks, or something wild with that, but I got the itch again to try something different, extreme. So I dove into wrestling somewhere in the middle of, towards the end of college, actually, like my last.
So how do you feel that the 2 majors that you studied in college helped you to get into wrestling?
I feel that they didn't, but I went from chemistry to sports medicine because I really loved training and stuff. I grew up I like powerlifting and Olympic lifting and things like that. So I did do that in high school and all the way through, as well as chemistry is just fun. I really enjoy science and all the nerdy types. I loved AP calculus in high school because we would get to do the formulas of food and then bring in that food and eat it. And what person doesn't want to bring in a pizza and just eat it with your friends in class? But sports medicine was great because I learned a lot of rehabilitation and ways to get fit and things to do to kind of help with anything athletic. So that did help me out a little bit.
So when did you know that you wanted to be a professional wrestler? At what point in your college career did you say, I want to do this?
Well, there are various times where I entertained the idea, but I didn't do it, somewhere through organic chemistry class, I just realized I kept designing gear instead of, working on my formulas. But I did enjoy Orgo very much so. And then I just, I had a talk with somebody that was super important to me, a really good friend of mine, and they were like, I feel like you should do it, I mean, gosh, you only live once, and I was like, I know, and like, it's not like you can't ever go back to things you enjoy reading and studying and doing and being in a lab and all that, but there is an expiration date on wrestling. There is. And there's an expiration date on, being like an angry punk chick who wants to like rebel against everything. Like those two things, I would say, not that music has an expiration date, because you could always play music. I love it. But jumping in a ring and taking some bumps and doing that, I feel like, gosh, I got to do it now. It's now or never. So somewhere around then, I was like, well, okay. I was a senior and was at a pizza place, and I just decided, yes, let's move to Kentucky and start wrestling. And I really got the kickoff when I moved to Florida. That's when a lot of the magic happened, and I got a lot of support and help, and met some great, amazing people that really took the time and helped me. So there's that.
So how did you find a wrestling school to train at?
Like at the time, gosh, it's not like it's any different now. I'd assume there might just be more schools, right? I just, 7 years later. I took a lot of time off when I started for school as well. Like, I may have started wrestling school, but then I would leave and go back to class, come back and do another class, that kind of thing. So it wasn't very consistent first few years. I just, I asked around. You got to just find stuff. You got to look online if you want anything, right? If you really want anything, you can and you will do it. There's no real, like, anything holding you back, because it's you have that will and you have that determination and you have that dream and motivation to do so. So, like, I wanted to find a school, and I'll be damned if I was going to not find some place to go train and not see people, like, recommend or, suggest places and maybe find independent scene, which I didn't really know about, to be honest. I was so like, bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, right? I didn't know there was this whole world of things going on. So when I found that and I saw, like, oh, there's, like, all these places to go and wrestle at and all these things to do and all these people that are fighting to get this dream now, like, that's incredible. Like, I want to be a part of that. It's that way, just by asking, word of mouth.
So initially you were trained by Rip Rogers, Al Snow, and Dick Ninsmore. How is your training broken up with the three of them?
I got a lot of ring psych from Al in terms of, like, just listen, right? Like, you just listen. There was a lot of, like, heat drills and stuff with Rip, which were really cool, like getting to practice things you're uncomfortable with, because everyone's uncomfortable with the magic of things, You may be very outgoing, but then when you're new and you're in the school and there's so many people that, like, know how to do things already, like, of course, it's intimidating and you got to get out of your shell. So I did it that way and just get in the ring and chain and then heat spots and then chain and then heat spots and, I guess like the art of selling and, what's real and how does it really feel, right? How does everything really feel? Like, it's definitely all stuff that's genuine, like there's so much more to it than people realize. And I think that was the best thing that I learned out of everything. There's just so many intricacies to it.
And do you feel that, working in stage crew and a little bit of drama in high school really helped prepare you to cut promos?
I love promos. I do. I if anything else, I really love them. I think that doing all that in school, I mean, I wasn't a part of cast necessarily, but I'd watch them. But I also used to do shows as a musician, and that's still entertaining. And even though I was the drummer, there's still a lot to it, especially like, not screwing that up and throwing the whole band off. Promos are really fun in the sense of, like, for me anyway, it gives me that freedom to, like, be kind of crazy and wild. I mean, everyone has a character and such, and mine is just me amped up to, like, 27, I would say. So I kind of just come up with things that would be silly and fun to do and hopefully enjoyable to watch. And I roll with it, and I kind of my little guerrilla version of promos. Obviously there's tons of, like, the legit, like, see me here now, I'm going to do this and that kind of, like when you're there at the shows and they get to film those 42, those are awesome and great. Those are quick. But I love editing and cutting footage and doing it to a song or, putting some sort of like credits to it and stuff. Like all that's just me being wild.
So you officially debuted in July 2011 in OVW. How did you get there, and why did you choose there to start?
That was the place at the time. When I moved to Kentucky, they were like the place at the time, and they have a lot that people can learn from. So like you have to go where the people recommend, where the scene is happening, and I think that was a good place, to really get your feet wet, right? Like just go to OVW. They were contract and they had a lot going on, and they have great teachers there. So yeah, that was really the basis of it. Moving to Florida was a really good start for me in the sense of women, like getting to know and meet tons of like women wrestlers. Like obviously there's Shine there going on, and a lot of the girls, they all get there, and then they travel up to Berwyn for Shimmer, and there's WSU that runs. It's an all girls promotion in Jersey and sometimes Philly, and I got to meet a lot of the girls that run those shows and do those shows by moving to Florida, especially working with Daphne and working with Lexi. Those women really were amazing, and they are wonderful humans that helped me out big time. So, but yeah, I met my best friend there, Leva. So that's awesome. Just all the women there were just so helpful, and they're always open to mentoring me. So nothing but good things to say.
So when you first were in OVW, did you have to submit a tape to them, or how did you get a match there to start your career?
No, I didn't have to do tape or anything at the time. It was very different. When I was wrestling there, they weren't contract or anything. They were running OVW. They had DCW for a while. Is that what it was? Derby City Wrestling, I believe. And I was there. I just kept showing up, and I showed up with the bag. I had like exercise clothes, like they're like, all right, you're having a match tonight. And I'm like, okay. Whoa, all right. Like, it's just, you're there, you're in the right place at the right time, and you're prepared. Just always be prepared. It was wild. Like, I wasn't necessarily not ready. I mean, you're never ready and you're never not ready. You're always just exactly where you're at that moment in time. But if you have, like, let's say gear, or if you come prepared, or you have, like, makeup, at least you can help. Like, let's say you were there, the girls, like, do makeup or do hair. Like, I always had extra, like, beauty supplies and stuff, because I kind of learned from the other girls to always have extra stuff just in case. There's never necessarily a follow-up with that, but it was good preparation. So I had stuff with me, and I was ring girl, I mean, everybody, they pay their dues, and they do everything that they're supposed to do. And, I would go all the time, and I'd watch the show and try and be a part of it as the best as I could, in terms of like maybe work merchandise or work the concession stand. And then they asked me to be like the ring girl to like help out, on the side. And then they were like, all right, you're gonna have a match. So
Now, OVW has produced some of the top stars in the industry today. While you were working there, did you learn anything that helps you to this day?
yes, you learn something wherever you go. And the most important thing is to listen. Listen, just get to know everybody, shake everyone's hand, obviously, like all the little things that we're always told, but you never know who someone is, truthfully. Especially if like I'm brand new, I'm just starting, I may know people, but what if, oh, this is so and so, and I didn't know that was them, like you just always want to be polite, and etiquette is not hard. Basically being, like I said, polite and kind, and like, okay, hello, is there anything I can get you? And just being there in a very supportive role. So that's always good. And, and you can learn a lot by watching. You can learn a lot by watching other people do. Like when I wasn't working concession, I would watch how they did it. And then if they needed me for something, let's say someone was sick or someone needed to go family emergency, I was ready. I was equipped. Same thing with any other position, right? You just kind of, sure, you're paying attention. So there was a lot of that, because a lot of those were the formative years, you know? Gosh, yeah, Kentucky times, right? Whew! A lot of, like, that, all of that stuff helped me in Florida. It just kind of gives me, like, kind of a bit of an edge, so I can go into classes in Florida and be like, okay, I know how to do that, or I can do this. Or if you need that, I'm perfectly capable. Gives you a better edge.
Now, to talk about Shine Wrestling, how did you first get introduced to Shine?
I worked with, they're called FUW, Norwich Promotion, and I met Mia there. I met Daphne there, and I worked a couple of shows there or whatever, and that was really fun. It was like in the sports building. It was really cool, good crowd. It was really nice. And then I got a message because I had been wanting to do Shine, and somehow I connected with Lexi, and I worked with her a bit. She was helping train, and she has a ring to kind of work out in and stuff and feel for stuff, right? And then I got a message one day like, hey, are you ready to Shine? And I was at my job at the time, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I showed up to Shine 9, completely looking like a different human than I do today, and it was amazing. I got to work with Rhea O'Reilly. She's wonderful. And she was just so, helpful. I'm like, all right, what can you do? What should we do? Let's work this out. It was really cool to work with her, especially when you're in this brand new place, and gosh, the production and the lights and the pink ring, woo, butterflies. I just had butterflies. It was really, really fun, and Shine really gave me the opportunity to grow and become more me, you know? You're always trying to find out who you are, even though you know who you are, or find out what works, what you enjoy doing, and it was great. That's where the birth of the ears came, and wearing the tail, and it was all Shine. It was all getting to do it at Shine with Daphne.
So speaking of Daphne, at Shine 11, you started to team up with her. How did that come about?
Exactly how everyone saw it. She was scouting. She was scouting talent. And then she asked me to work with her and Nikki Rock. And then Kong was a part of it. And I got to have, my first real tag, right? The exciting buddy system. Love Heidi Loveless. Love working with her. Brilliant. And the All-Star Squad just kind of, snowballed, which was really fun. And just lots of learning from Daphne, too. Got great critiques and recommendations, and getting to talk stuff out, what do you think about this, and what looks good, right? What are you comfortable wearing, maybe gear changes, because I've had tons of them in Shine, eventually leading to even I was Wolfman at Halloween with Bride of Frankenstein as Heidi, so that's cool. Yeah, it just kind of rolled from 11 on all the way to 20 something, right?
So, speaking of the buddy system with Heidi Lovelace, how did that form, and what do you feel that your greatest match with her against other teams was?
I really enjoyed the tournament with her. We also teamed up at Shimmer. It came about, randomly, actually. We knew each other, right? Everyone kind of knows each other. And then we both had dye in our hair. We both had, I remember we both had, colored hair, and we're both punkish-ish. We just had, a style about us, a way about us. And and people recommended us to be a tag. I think you should tag with Solo. And they're like, I think you should tag with Heidi. And we were in the same room, the same time one day, and we both had Penguin phone covers. And we were like, what? It was almost very Step Brothers-ish, if you've seen the movie, right? For me, it reminds me of that. And I'm so glad that they did suggest that, because she's a great human. So I'm glad that I get to have that. Say, this match with Maiden Sin, right, in the tournament. We wrestled them, and that was tense and fun, and I got to take their crazy finisher, which was nuts. Felt like a roller coaster ride. So I feel like that was a really good match.
So when you entered Shine, were you under the guise that you wanted to be a tag team wrestler, or did you want to just be a singles wrestler, or did you just want to wrestle?
Yeah, I'm down for anything. Honestly, like there was no definitive like I want to do this or this. I just want to reach all the levels and do all the things. I'm the type of person that wants to experience and learn. I'm always gonna want to learn. You're not gonna come up to me and go, "Hey, we'd like you to try this," and I'm gonna say no. I mean, in the sense of it would be a good experience for me, or I can learn from it, or whatnot. I'm always going to want to try stuff. And at the time, I mean, everyone gets those tags that aren't real tags that you just like, you get formulated for a match or you get put together for something, But actually having a partner that you contact and you ask like, hey, should we do this? Or, hey, what about this? Like that you're communicating with and working with for specifically a show or for specifically something where you two can rely on each other and work together. Gosh, A, I was never going to turn that down, and B, that's awesome to have. It's a great feeling. Even wrestling singles is great too. It's fun, and you get to run around like crazy. But like having someone there to tag with that you're reaching for in the match, you're reaching out to get them in, and it's a crazy feeling. It's fun.
Now to talk a little bit about your character. Where did the tail and the cat ears come from, and what was the inspiration for your name as well as your costume and your gear?
My name was given to me in college. One of my best friends, we met first day of chemistry class, and and she asked my first name, and she said, no, it's boring. She asked my last name. She said, nope, I ain't got time for that. Your name is Solo. Let's get Wendy's. And I've always been Solo since I was 18. But when you go into like anything, like you go into a party or whatever, and they start to pet name you, like Solo baby, come here, Solo honey, come here, hey, they call you, right? And then Darling was, if you've ever seen Grindhouse, I feel that Sherry Darling is a very badass character, and Darling also suits the pet name kind of definitive last name, so I went with that. My character is it's strange in a way that I feel so comfortable as her. I tried the bombshell thing in terms of like being blonde, red lipstick, and it didn't feel like me. And certain gears just didn't feel like me. They may look great and they were super fun, but I was at a convention and I was told like, oh hey, this is your first comic book, like Comic-Con or whatever, like, they sell those cat ears or animal ears. I would say animal ears. And they're like, you should get a pair. I was like, all right. So I got the black and teal ones, and I wore them all over the country. Loved them, right? Because I used to wear ears in high school, little cat ears and a headband. And then I was like, oh yeah. I messaged my friend. I was like, I'm gonna wear these at Shine. So I did, and I loved it. And then I was like, I wonder if I could get away with a tail too, because I think that I would feel good in a tail. And so I did. And then, and it was like, well, why can't you wrestle with the tail on? Because it kept falling off. Like, there's some really funny matches that I have. Like, there's one in Texas where I was running the rope, and it got caught on the second rope and just, like, ripped off. So it's come a long way, the mechanics of wearing a tail in the ring. I have, like, a belt now. I feel very, like, I've come far for that. And I'm not one animal or another, though I feel like my spirit animal is a squirrel. Very high energy, as you can tell by my voice. But, I've been a wolf and a cat and a squirrel and a fox. I've been just random creatures. Like, I have neon ears, I have rainbow tails, and soon I'll have a very special edition for October. It's a very special creature, so you guys have to stay tuned for that because I can't give it away even though I'm terrible with secrets. I won't. And I just have fun. I have fun wrestling with the tail on and wearing it and just being me. I guess people would call me a furry wrestler, but I feel like I'm definitely a sugar creature. You know, I run on copious amounts of sugar. I carry my Slurpee cup to the ring, pumped with Daft Punch, and I fuel up on it. You know, give an animal sugar, see what happens.
So where else have you wrestled outside of Shine?
Wrestled in the Carolinas. I've wrestled at Shimmer. I've wrestled at WSU. I've wrestled in Massachusetts. I will be outside of the States soon. Where else? Jersey, Philly, the Mid-East, like the Midwest states. I mean, obviously, when I was at OVW, I traveled around that Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee area. You know, Georgia, I've wrestled for. So pretty much up the coast, I'm thinking, yeah, West Virginia too. And there's more to come. I'm almost booked up every weekend until December. So if any promoters are listening to this podcast, thank you. And I am still taking bookings to pack up, I guess, everything through the new year. Jeez, yeah. So yeah, I've wrestled in quite a bit of places. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative for those who have given me the chance and given me the opportunity to be there and showcase and have some fun and meet new people. Just recently I wrestled in PA. I wrestled for a new company, Legacy Wrestling, and it was very nice and very kind, and the locker room was really fun. So great crowd, and that was really cool. Yeah, it was a lot of places. It's cool. Oh, it sounds nice when you think about it, right? You don't realize it until you get asked, and you're like, oh, look at that. Huh.
So can you briefly describe what your week looks like as an independent wrestler?
I work out as many days as I can. I try and merchandise. I make my own gear. So right now I'm trying to get gears done before it gets super crazy. You know, like once the fall hits and everyone's running around, like, you know, people are visiting or you're out doing shows, it gets a little crowded, you know, during the week. Like you don't have enough time to sit down and do all that. So working on all my gears for the end of the year. And I'm making, right now I'm doing custom cups. So everyone can join on the Sugar Rush. So I'm painting cups, and anyone who purchases them will get a free refill, or their free first fill. You know, if it's better worded. It's on me. I have a puppy. I have animals that I take care of. So I definitely, like Rocky Marcel's my dog. Right now he's got some doctor's appointments coming up. So as an animal mom, you might know if you're an animal parent as well, you gotta, you know, take them out and have time with them as well and have family time. And then traveling, living out of a suitcase, or, you know, watching footage that you can and catching up on shows so you also can watch whatever's happening in the world and traveling. It's great. I love it. I love either being in a car or being a bus was all right until it broke down. The bus was cool until, like, it broke down. And me and Papa Don were, like, waiting for somebody to come pick us up to get to the show. I worked for ARW, which was fantastic. So much fun. So, yeah, that was when the bus broke down there. It's pretty wild, but I wouldn't change it. I don't know if I could do anything else. Then again, that being said, I love baking and cooking, and I write recipes all the time for crazy things I want to do. I'm always making something or sewing, so I enjoy that too. So I feel like that all kind of ties into leading up to getting to the ring and doing the match in a way, because it's all encompassing, right? Merchandise, outfits, attires, promo videos, you know, filming things, talking to people online and networking in terms of, like, meeting people, like how many people, thanks to Twitter, I've gotten in contact with. Man, it's intense. It's great. It's the greatest thing ever.
Finally, do you have anything you'd like to promote, promo, Facebook, Twitter, website,
Well,
Pro Wrestling
oh,
Tees?
please, of course. Like, if you guys are on Instagram, follow me, and the way it spells is the way it sounds, at Regulation Solo. That's my Instagram, and my Twitter is literally at Solo Darling. You know, no dots, no underscores, anything like that. Super simple. And follow the Sugar Rush wherever you go. Stay tuned, because I'm literally coming up with all sorts of merchandise. And for those of you amazing people who have messaged me on my Facebook athlete page, which is Solo Darling, and you'll see me the picture of me playing with streamers, because why not? Because duh. Thank you for messaging me. I'm getting to everyone's little merch box, and you can hit me up there if you want packages sent to you. And I do all sorts of specials and stuff for people that want stuff they can't get to shows because sometimes it's really difficult, depending on where you live. Sweetest Scope is my personal I make videos company, all the little guerrilla videos I make. So stay tuned for more shenanigans for sure. There's a 24-hour cupcake place somewhere in New York City that I still have yet to hit up and delve into, so I'm sure that's going to be. So please definitely hit me up on any of those things, any of those forms of media. If you need something at all, you can hit me up on Twitter. And for my Instagram, Regulation Solar, no filters, no added. It's literally me. That's why I use the Regulation. I think it's really fun. Games, cups, shirts available soon on Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm working out designs on that right now, so as soon as that's up and out, it's definitely going to be all over Twitter. And I'm grateful for that and thank them for hitting me up. So yeah.
And do you have any shows that you want to promote that you can?
Well, first off, this Saturday is WSU, and that's all over Twitter right now. That'll be in Voorhees. But definitely check that out. I'm in a tag match with Brittany Blake, and I'm definitely gonna stick some ears on her so she can join the ferocious adventure with me. So that's coming up literally this Saturday. And as for the upcoming dates, I'm gonna post all of them on my Facebook. So please hit me up on that to see everything that's gonna go on because there's quite a few. I will be in Texas again for Anarchy Championship Wrestling. I'll be working their September show and Fun Fest in November, and I'm super excited about that. It's fun. It's the first time doing it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for listening to this week's podcast, and please subscribe so this podcast finds you and you don't have to find it, as well as please check out popanimecomics.com for articles relating to anime, comics, and pop culture, and I will see you next week.